Corruption in Jamaica's government, unveiling hidden deals and financial mismanagement.
Because here's why. It is not the first time Minister-Vaz has done something like this or is involved with something like this. It's not the first time. So we can sit here and keep calling him fool and fool and fool and fool and fool till the cows come home. And he could care less because he's doing whatever he wants to do. And you know why? Because of this.
Oh my God.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my God.
So you notice he didn't say they're fools. That's a term that we reserve for him, right? So we say he's a fool. And then he said, yeah, but you guys are dumb, dark, and stupid. Because I can do whatever I want to do, and all you can do is just blah, 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 blah. You can't stop me. Case in point, rooms on the beach. You remember that? The hotel and the surrounding lands and the beach. Estimated value 13+ million US dollars. Yet, the Jamaican government, and we have the Contractor General's report indicating that Minister-Vaz was a central player in this. It was sold for 7. You remember that? How many of you went up in arms over that? Another case. School bus. 1.4 billion for 110 used school bus, even though we have documentation saying that the buses, some of them, they're new, but we know that's not the case. Not a single bus that came to Jamaica, at least for the invoice, based on the invoice we have, not a single one was a new bus. And he said all the buses, and we'll play the tape sometime soon. All the buses, he said, and he gave a schedule. He said all the buses will be in Jamaica by the end of July 2025. And we know that as a fact, the 110 buses did not arrive in Jamaica by the end of July 2025. So the question is, where is the money? Since you didn't buy all the buses, where's the money? And by the way, he gave an interview where he said, all the buses, he said somebody call him and tell him when he can get the buses them. So it shouldn't have been a problem because you know why? There wasn't any hold up because they gave him all the variances from the rules to bring the buses in. He got all the documentation that he needed to bring these buses in without any problems. All the exceptions to the rules. So the question is, then why aren't the buses here? And if the buses aren't here, what happened to the rest of the money? Because you said 110 buses, 1.4 billion. We have less than 110 buses, and we don't have the rest of the money. Where is the money? So when we sit here and we say, oh, Vaz, fool, and think about it. Think about it. We're worse because he's doing it to us, and all we can say, oh, he's a fool. And he's smiling, getting his way. Oh, by the way, don't forget, this is the same man who got a lease for government property, for some long-term lease, for some little bit of money that he wasn't supposed to get. Remember? And this catastrophe, this destructive force called Melissa, it is going to result in many, many cases of us calling politicians fools, and they're just tripping away with the money. Trust me on that. And that's why this Saturday we're going to show you 2 cases, two contracts having to do with Minister Tufton and his friend. We're going to show you. We're going to show you how you can play games with the procurement rules and get money. We're going to show you. Oh, and by the way, get money that you shouldn't get. We're going to show you. And one of the reasons why I want you to tune in and pay attention to it this Saturday is simply this. It is going to happen. You remember the Auditor General and JAMP came out with the report, 3 trillion unaccounted for. And the point, one of the ministries guilty of this, Ministry of Health, during COVID, where monies were paid, no invoices, nothing at all. It is going to happen again. But guess what happened? It was like 4 years later when people started saying, yeah, 3 trillion missing, where the money gone, blah, 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 blah. How long did that last? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum. And then we're back to normal. And the politicians know this. They know that they can continue to play us because all we're going to do is just run our mouth for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then while we're doing this, they're busy engineering some other schemes. And we're always a day late and a dollar short. We're always coming after them after the money done spent and everything like that. And we're very forgiving people and also very forgetful people too. Whenever, sometimes we are. To be honest, we are. We are. And so, while we should blame the politicians, we should also blame ourselves. We should blame ourselves. Lots of things happening in Jamaica. Lots of things happen in Jamaica and people just turn a blind eye. 9 days go by, it's forgotten. More events, 9 days go by, it's forgotten. They're forgotten, and so on and so forth. Okay, all right, that's a good SSB. Make a good point. So, Mr. Ratty, can you please explain the role of the opposition to the people, because the JLP behave as if they are not a part of the government? All right. Technically speaking, the government is composed of the opposition and the ruling party, the MPs and the senators. The opposition, again, technically, is part of the government. They vote. And when you look at the chart, you'll see that the government is composed of members of parliament and the Senate. And that's called the legislature, the people who make laws. Remember, whenever there's a vote, the opposition votes too. Sometimes they vote with the ruling party. Sometimes they vote against the ruling party. But the fact that they can vote in parliament means that they're part of the government. Now, they're there to make sure that the government acts responsibly, to do the bidding of the people, just like we're doing. However, there are some differences. One, we, meaning the people in social media, we don't get paid by anyone, at least unless you, what you call it, monetize your channel. But you don't get paid from a government, right? You don't get that big salary that the politicians get. So the question is then, why are you making so much noise and they're not making the noise and they're the ones getting all this money? I think MP Dawes, who was on this program a week ago, said it best. He said, listen, first of all, the increase in the number of opposition members in parliament, in the main, means nothing. And you may say, well, what do you mean it means nothing? It doesn't mean that they have an increase in power. They have an increase in members in parliament, but they don't have an increase in power. You know why? Because most of the things that they're going to vote on in parliament require a majority vote. Don't forget that the JLP has 35 and the PNP has 28. So if the JLP vote, if they vote as a block, they will always get whatever is required by a majority vote, they will always get it. No,